Hi everyone, so in this video I will be counting down my picks for my top 11 favorite animated episodes. Okay, so for this list there is only one episode per show, and also please keep in mind that my opinion has changed a lot over the years, so this list might not be permanent, and also please note the disclaimer that is in the description below. Thank you all very much. Number 11, Season 6, Episode 19 of Regular Show. Okay, so this episode is about both Mordecai and Rigby going on an adventure to find rare golden game badges, and later in the episode, Benson goes after them because both Mordecai and Rigby stole Benson's car battery to go on this adventure to find rare golden game badges. Okay, so in my opinion, this is a very awesome, fun, entertaining, and interesting episode of Regular Show, and this episode is easily one of my favorite cartoon episodes of the 2010s decade, and that is why I put it on this list. Number 10, Episode 16 of Total Drama Action. Okay, so this episode involves the teams from Total Drama Action being merged, and the plot, the challenge for this episode is about spy movies, and I find that to be a very cool and interesting concept for this episode, even though I am not really much of a big fan of any spy shows or movies nowadays. And this episode also has a reference to 16, and I find that to be very, 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 very awesome. So, overall, this is easily my favorite episode of Total Drama right now, and that is why I put it at number 10 on this list. Number 9, a firefighting We Will Go from King of the Hill. Okay, so this episode is about Hank, Dale, Bill, and Boomhauer all becoming volunteer firemen, and these four characters do not do the best job of getting along with each other in this adult cartoon episode. And in my opinion, both the interactions and dialogue between Hank, Dale, Bill, and Boomhauer really make this adult cartoon episode of King of the Hill. And that is why I really, really love this episode, and that is why it is on this list. Number 8, Graveyard Shift from SpongeBob Squarepants. Okay, so this is the only Nickelodeon episode on this list, and this episode is about Mr. Krabs opening up the Krusty Krab 24 hours a day, and he also makes both SpongeBob and Squidward work at the Krusty Krab 24 hours a day. And later in the episode, Squidward tells SpongeBob a story about the hash-slinging slasher, and later in the episode, the real hash-slinging slasher shows up at the Krusty Krab really late at night, but he is really a nice person. He's really just a nice person looking for a job at the Krusty Krab. To me, this is a very, very awesome episode of SpongeBob Squarepants involving both SpongeBob and Squidward, and that is why I put it on this list. Number 7, Episode 133 of Naruto. Okay, so this is the first anime episode to be on this list, and in my opinion, it is also one of the best anime episodes ever. Okay, so this is one of those episodes in the Naruto franchise that involves both Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha battling against each other. And in my opinion, this episode does the best job with that. I think this episode has great emotions, transformations, interactions, and dialogue between both Naruto and Sasuke and moves. I really love how both Naruto and Sasuke battle against each other in this episode, and I think that really makes the episode. Yeah, that is why I put this episode of Naruto on this list. Number 6, Infernal Slumber from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Okay, so this episode is about Blue, Wilt, and Eduardo all coming to Mac's apartment for a slumber party, which Mac did not plan, and later in the episode, Goo and Coco join the slumber party, and later in the episode, Cheese also joins the slumber party. And Mac wants all of them to be quiet so that his older brother Terrence doesn't wake up, and along with his mother. And Terrence is the one who wakes up from the slumber party, but Max still does not get busted. Mac's mom never even finds out about the slumber party. To me, this is the best cartoon sleepover episode ever, and that is why I put it on this list. Number 5, Episode 427 of Naruto Shippuden. Yes, another episode from the Naruto franchise makes an appearance on this list. Okay, so this episode is about both Naruto and Sasuke teaming up against Madara in his Sage of Six Paths transformation. And in my opinion, I really love how both Naruto and Sasuke team up against Madara in this episode. I really like how Sasuke uses his Susanoo in this episode, and this episode is so animated well, in my opinion. To me, this is definitely one of the best anime episodes of the 2010s decade. Number 4, Heat Signature from Adventure Time. Okay, so this episode of Adventure Time is about Marceline and her ghost friends all tricking both Finn and Jake into thinking that they are vampires, which they're really not. And to me, this is a really fun episode of Adventure Time. I really love both the interactions and dialogue between both Finn and Jake in this episode. And I really like the animation style in this episode. And this episode has a very interesting plot, in my opinion. And the episode ends with Finn, Jake, Marceline, and her ghost friends all watching the Heat Signature movie that Finn and Jake brought over to Marceline's house. To me, this is definitely, this is easily my favorite Cartoon Network episode of the 2010s. Easily my favorite Cartoon Network original episode of the 2010s. Number 3, episode 46 of Dragon Ball Super. Okay, so this is the first episode from the Dragon Ball franchise to be on this list. And in my opinion, this episode is easily the best episode of Dragon Ball Super. Okay, so this episode is about Goku fighting the duplicated Vegeta, and the fight starts off with Goku and the duplicated Vegeta being at their base forms, and later in the fight, they both transform into Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And to me, this episode has really great action in it, and the duplicated Vegeta does not win this fight. Goku does. Goku wins this fight by using Kamehameha on the duplicated Vegeta in his Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan transformation. And the real Vegeta's body becomes solid again. To me, this is easily one of my favorite animated episodes ever, and that is why I put it on this list. Number 2, The Day the Ed Stood Still from Ed, and Eddy. Oh my gosh, this list is getting close to number 1. Okay. So the plot of this episode is about Double D dressing Ed up as a monster, and while Double D goes to get a mirror, Ed decides to attack Eddy in his monster costume that Double D made him, and he bursts through Double D's garage door. And he goes after other kids in the cul-de-sac dressed as a monster. To me, this is the best cartoon monster episode ever. I really love both the interactions and dialogue between both Eddy and Double D, also known as Ed. I really love how Ed is dressed as a monster in this episode, and to me, I think he does a really great job of acting like a monster in this episode. Ed, I think you do a really great job of acting like a monster in that episode. And, of course, and the episode ends, and, the episode ends with Eddy, Ed, also known as Double D, and Ed, trying to get away from the other kids in the cul-de-sac. Trying to hide under Eddy's bed. To me, this is easily my favorite episode of Ed, and Eddy right now, and it is not even number 1 on this list. I really, really love this episode, and I feel that it deserves to be on the top 2 on this list. Okay, number 1, episode 274 of Dragon Ball Z. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This is easily my favorite animated episode ever. My favorite episode, this is my favorite episode in any show ever. This is my favorite episode, this is my favorite episode in all of animation. It is a very, very awesome anime episode in my opinion. Okay, so this is one of those episodes that involves both Goku and Vegeta being stuck in Boo's body. And this episode also involves Goku and Vegeta fighting imposters of Gohan, Gotenks, and Piccolo. And I really like how Goku and Vegeta interact with each other in this episode. This is a really funny Dragon Ball Z episode, in my opinion. And I really like the action in this episode. The action in Dragon Ball Z is great. And I especially think that the action in this episode is super stinking awesome. This is a very, very, very awesome anime episode, in my opinion. It so deserves the #1 spot on this list, in my opinion. I mean. And the main reason why I put this at #1 is because of both the interactions and dialogue between both Goku and Vegeta. Because Goku and Vegeta are my two favorite fictional characters ever, and I really love how they both interact with each other in the Dragon Ball franchise. And that is like the main reason why I love this episode of Dragon Ball Z so much. And that is also the main reason why this episode is the winner of this top 11 animated episodes list. I feel that this episode deserves the #1 spot on this list. Well, that is it, everyone. Bye, and thanks for watching.